Good afternoon. My name is Jordan LaKyle, and I'm presenting on my research paper entitled Performance Evaluations with the University of Houston Victoria Student Recruitment Coordinators and Their Reactions. My thesis statement was as follows. Within this study, we will ask student recruitment coordinators from the University of Houston Victoria to assess their performance evaluations, what type of evaluation was used, and we will determine through specialized targeted questions their satisfaction with the form of evaluation utilized, and to why they harbor feelings of happiness or disdain. There will be a strong focus on employees' reactions to performance evaluations and those results, with an expected outcome to be dissatisfaction with performance-based questions and their outcomes. My objective was to utilize a convenient sample of my peers in order to determine what form of evaluation they liked and if they were displeased with their recent evaluation. Some of the key literature utilized in this study include Folk, Brief, and Barr, which focused on the idea that employee perceptions of the fairness and accuracy of their performance evaluations play a major role in the ultimate success of a performance appraisal system. Greenberg, which focused on perceived fairness of evaluations. According to him, perceived fairness focused on the relative ratio of a worker's outcomes of his or her inputs to some standard of comparison as the basis of assessing the fairness of the relationship. Ponifrac focused on reactions towards evaluations. He unveiled the alarming statistic that only 55% of employees truly feel as though their performance evaluations are even effective, with much of this dissatisfaction coming from a lack of supervisory support. Roberts and Priegitzer focus on employees' anger with evaluations. They noted 5 different concepts, including rating bias, hypocrisy, poor informal feedback, poor communication during formal feedback sessions, and rater errors that negatively affect performance evaluation reactions. Pierce and Porter focused on employees' reactions to evaluations and its effect on organizational commitment. They stated that, as hypothesized, there in fact was a sincerely major drop in individuals' organizational commitment following their appraisal if they were simply marked as satisfactory. Patz focused on managers and their views of performance evaluations. Evaluations were deemed as a chore to many managers due to the concepts of systematic barriers, including collection obstacles and analysis obstacles, as well as behavioral barriers, including political obstacles and interpersonal obstacles. With this study, program process monitoring was the theory utilized in order to determine if the program was working effectively through these employees' documents. With this, it can then be determined whether or not the program is accomplishing the goals that were set forth. The methodology utilized for this paper was incredibly simplistic. Utilizing an electronically delivered survey containing 10 questions, the approach was that of a mixed method, with the ultimate goal being to gather quantitative data in order to further understand these individuals' views of their performance evaluations. Of these questions, 8 utilized a Likert scale, 1 a singular choice option, and 1 was an open-ended statement allowing individuals to provide us with qualitative data. Questions utilizing the Likert scale allowed surveyors to select options from 1 to 5. On all of the Likert scale questions, 1s meant that individuals were completely dissatisfied, and 5s meant that individuals were highly satisfied. Or, depending on the question, 1s meant that individuals had negative emotions, while 5s meant that they had positive emotions. Once these questions were done being carefully crafted, they were entered into an online survey creator and distributed to the 13 University of Houston Victoria recruiters, in which 9 responded. Secondary data was not utilized within this study. For our results section, we'll go over each question. For question 1, individuals were asked, overall, how did you feel about the outcome of your performance evaluation, with the weighted average being 3.11. Question 2 asked, on a scale from 1 to 5, how enthusiastic were you about your evaluation, with the weighted average being a 3.22. Question 3 asked, on a scale of 1 to 5, how upset were you about your evaluation, with the weighted average being a 3.11. Question 4 asked, on a scale from 1 to 5, how confused were you about your evaluation, with the weighted average being a 3.33. Question 5 asked, on a scale from 1 to 5, how resentful or frustrated were you about your evaluation, with the weighted average being a 3.33. Question 6 asked, how satisfied were you with the type of questions asked on your performance evaluation, with the weighted average being a 3.44. Question 7 asked, if given a choice of 1, what type of performance evaluation questions would you like to be asked? With 5 individuals responding for behavior-based questions, 4 individuals responding for performance-based questions, and no individuals responding for trait-based questions. Question 8 asked, how satisfied were you with the manner in which your performance evaluation was delivered, with the weighted average being a 3.22. Question 9 asked, leading up to your performance evaluation, do you agree that you received proper constructive criticism throughout the year, with the weighted average being a 3.0. With question 10, we asked individuals to take the opportunity to explain why you feel the way you do regarding your performance evaluation. Reasoning can include types of questions asked, the manner in which the evaluation was delivered, or any other information deemed pertinent. For this question, we received a myriad of responses, including but not limited to, performance for going above and beyond should be inputted as a 5 as opposed to a 3, which means just meeting requirements, simply due to upper administration believing that performing exceeding above and beyond standards is not possible. I feel like I was marked down in certain areas of my evaluation, but was never explained how to fix it. I was never corrected before the evaluation was given, and it was never followed up on after the evaluation. Also, the questions and process were not fine, and when the supervisor is resentful, not open to ideas and strengths of his or her staff, bases treatment and evaluation of a staff member on emotions rather than actual performance, and acts in an unprofessional and unethical manner, it undermines the entire review process. Also, the evaluation process is fairly easy to follow and comprehend. I wasn't overly excited about it because I wasn't given too much feedback on what I needed to correct, yet I didn't receive a perfect score either. And finally, performance evaluations have always been a pleasant experience for me. Reasoning behind that is that the evaluations highly center around the behavior of the employee. This is something I feel is a true indicator of a valuable employee in the workplace. For this discussion, we must make reference to the type of performance evaluation actually used on these individuals. The original evaluation given to recruiters for their work performance contained primarily trait-based questions, which based their ratings off of factors such as friendliness, innovation, extroversion, and conscientiousness. As indicated by the recruiters, not a single individual chose that they would like to have a trait-based evaluation question given on their evaluations, yet many of them said that they liked the evaluation that they were given. No one said that their expectations were exceeded, but there were a few individuals that were incredibly displeased with their evaluations. As indicated through our research, individuals were concerned with their supervisor and the manner in which they delivered their evaluation, stating that they were resentful, unethical, emotional, and noted the hypocrisy in the evaluation, as well as never being given proper feedback before or after their evaluation, and being told that even though they go above and beyond, that they're not allowed to get a 5 on evaluations because upper administration feels as though those standards are not possible. So instead, they simply receive a 3. For recommendations and limitations, there are a few things that need to be discussed. For limitations, I utilized a very small sample, as well as a convenient sample. With that being said, these two factors make the generalizability of this study incredibly low, which is an issue. For recommendations, I believe there needs to be an in-depth focus on the types of evaluations utilized at a multitude of different institutions. One needs to be encouraged to try new things and step out of their comfort zone, which is reference to the convenient sample that I utilized. In conclusion, through this study, we have seen where individuals prefer the use of behavior-based or performance-based evaluations, but those individuals that truly enjoyed their trait-based evaluations were those that had proper supervisory support at hand throughout the year. One can see where if proper supervisory support is lacking, as well as the utilization of questions that do not thoroughly express the work ethic of an individual in question, this can lead to disdain within the entire organization. Thank you.